Hi, what are your names?
My name's Mary.
Hi, Mary.
I'm Greg.
Hi, Greg.
Hello.
Today we're going to be learning about place value. Do you guys know anything about place value?
Well, we're learning about in class, kind of.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we're going to start off by, do you guys know what a three-digit number is? Can you guys give me an example of a three-digit number?
100.
100 is a three-digit number. It has three numbers. It has a 1, a 0, and another 0. Mary, do you know any three-digit numbers?
Well, can it have more than another 0 in it? Can it have like a 2, 5, or 17?
No. Can you give me an example of one? Think of a number.
257.
Yeah, that's a really good number. That has three digits. It has a 2, a 5, and a 7. So right now I'm going to ask you guys if you could write down three-digit numbers on your piece of paper. Any three. You can use the example you just gave. Very good. And each of those numbers has three numbers within it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to learn about what each of those three numbers in that number mean.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to start off, if you have one popsicle stick, and we're going to start counting them. So can you guys count with me?
Yeah.
We have 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
9, 10.
10.
So we have 10 popsicle sticks. Can you guys write the number 10 on your piece of paper? Good. And what do you notice about that number 10? How many digits are there?
It has 2 numerals.
It has 2. So we are going to use that, and we are going to make one group of 10. So we're going to rubber band those popsicle sticks together. Okay? And we're going to continue counting up from 10. Okay? You ready? 11, 12,
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
We're going to stop there because we have 10 popsicle sticks here. What did we do with our last 10 popsicle sticks?
We bundled them.
We did. We bundled them. So we're going to do that again. And what number was that we just counted to?
20.
So can you write 20 on your piece of paper? So what do you notice about our groups of popsicle sticks and your 20 on your sheet of paper?
There's 2 digits.
There's 2 digits.
Yes.
But what does this 2 on your piece of paper actually represent? Do you know?
The amount of bundles we have.
The amount of bundles we have. The amount of tens we have, because we have 2 bundles of 10 each.
It's in the tens column, Greg. Remember Mrs. A was talking about that earlier?
Alrighty, good. So we're going to keep counting, but we're going to stop when we get to 23. So we have 20 here. We're going to do 21, 22, 23. Alrighty, so this is our number 23, correct?
Yes.
This is how you would write 23.
Yes.
So how many groups of 10 do we have in our 23? How many groups of 10 do we see?
We have 2 groups of 10.
Okay. And how many ones do we have in our 23?
I think we have 3, right, Greg?
3, I think so.
We have 3 ones. So what do you notice about your groups of 10s and your ones relating to your 23?
Match.
They match.
Right. So your groups, how many groups of 10 you have are marking this number. And how many groups of ones you have are marking this number, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we got to 45, how many groups of 10 would we need, and how many ones would we need?
I think that we're going to need 5 bundles and 4 sticks.
5 bundles and 4 sticks? What do you think, Greg? Do you think that's right?
I think so.
Okay. How many bundles do we have?
5.
Okay, when we looked at 20, how many bundles did we have?
2.
So if we wanted 45, how many bundles would be in this first column? Not 5. How many would we put?
4.
4. And if we did this, we had 3, and our 3 corresponded there, so how many ones do we need?
For 45,
45.
we need 5.
We would need 5. Very, very good. Alrighty, we're going to keep counting up. So we have 40 here, right? And then we have, if we add 10 more to our 40, how many do we have?
We have 50.
And then if we add 10 more,
60.
and we add 10 more,
70.
80, 90, 100. Okay, now this 100. What happened last time we had 10 of something?
We bundled it together.
So when we had 10 ones, we bundled them. So what do you think we're going to do with our 10 tens?
We're going to put a string around it.
We're going to bundle them. Just like this. So now we've bundled them. Can you guys write 100 on your sheet of paper? Alright, what do you notice about the number 100?
It has 3 numerals.
It has 3
Digits.
numerals. So we went from our 1s to our tens, and now we're in our hundreds. So our hundreds has 10 groups of 10.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's keep counting a little bit more. We have 100, 101, 102, 103. So what do we notice about the number 103? How many groups of 100 do we have?
Oh, we have 10.
We have 10 groups of 10, but how many groups of 100 do we have? How many big bundles do we have?
Well, we only have 1 big bundle.
We have 1 big bundle. So that 1 big bundle represents 100 popsicle sticks. How many groups of 10 do we have that are not in our bundle of 100?
0.
We have 0. And how many ones do we have?
3.
3. So if you notice again,
It
the
matches.
hundreds corresponds to the first number, the 0 and the tens place corresponds to the middle number, and the 3 or the ones place corresponds to our last number. So we have 1 group of 100, 0 groups of 10, and 3 ones. Very good. If I were to add in 2 groups of 10, how would this number change?
You'd add a 2.
We would put a 2 here in the middle because we now have 2 groups of 10.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Alrighty. We're going to continue on then, and we're going to look at this number. And on this number we have, what number is this? Can anyone tell me?
It's a 2.
What number is this as a whole?
236.
236. So as you're looking at this number, what numbers do you hear within it?
100.
100. Okay. I can't write this down. That's a challenge. What other numbers do you hear in it?
30.
30. What other numbers do you hear in 236? And is and a number?
No, but I hear
Okay.
6 too, though.
You hear 6. Do you hear any other numbers?
The 2, right?
A 2. And what does that 2 represent?
2.
Okay. Okay, so we hear those numbers in it. How can we use those numbers to figure out how many groups of things that we have? Because we have this 2, and looking back at this, what did the 1 represent?
The hundreds column.
So what does this 2 represent?
The hundreds.
The hundreds. And what does this 3 represent?
Well, the tens
Tens.
column.
The tens
30.
column. So it represents 30. And this 6, what does this 6 represent?
The ones column.
Which is still our 6. Oops. Alrighty. So when we're looking at numbers, we have our 3 different place values. The first one represents the hundreds. The second one represents the tens. And the third one represents the ones. So in this number, how many groups of 100 do we have?
4.
4. And how many groups of 10 do we have?
6.
And how many ones do we have?
5.
Good. So on your piece of paper, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of practice. I'm going to give you a number, and I'm going to ask you to write it out in words, just like we were doing here at the bottom. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, so your first number is 172. So if you can write that down. And now below that, how many groups of hundreds do you have?
How do you spell hundreds?
Right here. Hundreds. Alright, can you write how many groups of 10 you see? Really good. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with another number, okay? You guys are going to write 465. And you are going to do the same thing. You're going to write the number of hundreds, how many groups of 100 you have, how many groups of 10 you have, and how many ones you have. Alrighty, very, very good. We're going to go ahead and move on. I have these little worksheets for you. And on these worksheets, I want you to write, according to this number, how many groups of 100 you see, how many groups of 10s you see, and how many groups of 1s you see, just like we just did in your little practice.
What if we don't have one in the tens column?
Alright, well let's look back at our example earlier. Right here we didn't have anything in the tens column. And what was the green number that we put in that place?
0.
So we put that there were 0 tens.
Oh, so we can just put 0 there then?
Yep, because there are 0 groups of 10. Alrighty, very good. So what have we learned today?
Numbers.
Numbers. What more specifically did we learn about numbers?
I learned about how to bundle.
You learned about how to bundle, so you learned how to make groups out of your numbers, right?
Yeah, but
And
that's 100.
That's 100. And where do we write 100 when we're on our paper, when we're writing a number?
In the beginning.
In the beginning, right? And then what do we do with our 10s?
They get stuck in the middle.
Yep. And then what do we do with our 1s?
They're like the end of the train. They're
Yeah.
the end.
Very good. So when you have a number that has 3 spots, the first one is your hundreds, the second one is your 10s, and the last one is your 1s, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for allowing me to teach you guys today.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mrs.
Thank you.
Anna.
Right?